Our chief Washington correspondent, Peter Cook, has the numbers at the Labor Department. I'm going to toss it out to Peter now.
Betty, 120,000 jobs in line with expectations, but a big drop in unemployment, down to 8.6%. And if you include revisions to the prior months, an extra 72,000 jobs added to the U.S. economy in those months. We were over 200,000 in September. The unemployment rate, 8.6%, 0.4 drop. We haven't seen that number since March of 2009. It is the biggest monthly drop since December of 2010. Adult men, the big reason there, unemployment there dropping half of a percentage point down to 8.3%. The total unemployed in the household survey, 13.3 million. That's down 594,000. We have job gains in that household survey of 278,000. What led the way? Retail, up 50,000 in the month of November, if you include even the seasonal adjustments. So the number's even bigger overall, but it was adjusted by the Labor Department. Professional and business services up 33,000. Leisure and hospitality up 22,000. Manufacturing, a gain of just 2,000. The forecast there had been for a gain of 9,000. Government hiring down. We're shedding jobs in the public sector, down 20,000. So these were private sector jobs, of course, added in the month of November. Average hourly earnings, this may be a surprise for economists. The forecast was for a gain of 0.2% month over month. We had a drop of 0.1%. The year over year figure, 1.8%. And the average weekly hours worked 34.3, in line with expectations. Again, Betty, the headline number here, 120,000, close to our survey forecast of 125,000. But the big factor here, unemployment and also the revisions to September and October. Betty?
Okay, thank you so much, Peter, for going through that. And of course, the headline will be that the jobless rate has dropped. I want to get to Dominic Chu, who's got more on the market's reaction. Dominic.
That's right, Betty. We are seeing futures still near their highs of the session right now. The Dow futures, last print there, up 150 points. You can see there up about 17 points for S&P futures. NASDAQ kind of leading the way, or helping to lead the way here. NASDAQ futures up about 30 points, or 1.3%. Now, there was a decent move higher off of this on the initial print here. The S&P did rally about 2 or 3 points on this particular news, but it's now back down to where it was just before the announcement came out. So again, still near the highs of the session. As we turn towards the Treasury markets, we did again see a spike higher in Treasury yields, especially on the 10-year side of Treasuries. Those Treasury yields went from 2.13% on the 10-year to about 2.16% right after the number was released, and now again trading back down again. So yes, Betty, there was a market reaction, but perhaps already baked into the overall picture. Yields for 10-year bonds still near their session highs, and yields for equity futures still, Betty, near their session highs.
Near the session highs, but not that pop that we might expect on that jobless rate. And so, as you were saying, Dom, this could be priced into the markets right now. Now, Mike McKee has the real deal behind these jobs headlines. So give us this take, Mike. We're seeing this jobless rate lower, but, you know, the gains really weren't as much as expected.
Well, the gains weren't as much as expected this month. Well, they were exactly what were expected. But you look at those revisions, they're going in the right direction. They add an awful lot of jobs to the total picture, a net revision of 72,000. And we had now a 200,000 month in September. That suggests that maybe October, which is 100,000 now, may be revised up yet again to even more strength. So we're starting to pick up strength in the labor force. The unemployment number, really interesting because we did have a very big drop in the labor force, and that's what you don't want to see at this point. You want to see people coming in to try to find more jobs. But we also had a huge drop in the household survey, the one that produces the unemployment report, in the number of people who are unemployed, about 500,000. So that's the kind of number that really suggests that there is some strength out there, that companies are starting to pick up hiring. We saw a little bit of a drop in earnings. That's not particularly good news. No change in hours. All in all, a pretty good report for this time. Maybe not the blowout that people were expecting, but good news. May not be able to retain that unemployment rate at that level for very long, but it does look like we're going to continue to see some strong job gains.